"You disgrace this family," he hisses. "You will return to the palace at once." Django steps forward, his jaw set. "I love your daughter." The air grows thick with tension. The king lets out a slow, humorless laugh. "A drummer boy? You are not worthy to even look at her." Dear friends, welcome. I'm Amina, and this is my beloved Nia Tembo. We're so deeply thankful you're here with us today. These stories are more than just words. They carry the soul of our people, the wisdom of generations. And if you believe in keeping these precious tales alive, please support us by subscribing. It's free for you, but it means the world to us. And please, stay with us until the very end. Nia Tembo has something truly beautiful to share. Her words of wisdom, straight from the heart. Trust me, you won't want to miss them. In the vast kingdom of Dabari, where golden fields stretch beyond the horizon and rivers weave through lush valleys, a royal child is born. Her name is Nshira, meaning blessing, for the elders declare that she will bring great fortune. The kingdom erupts in celebration, for King Zubari and Queen Akina have longed for an heir for years. The people sing, drums echo through the land, and the scent of roasted meats fills the air as feasts stretch into the night. But as time passes, an unsettling truth emerges. As Nshira grows, so does an unnatural scent that clings to her skin like an invisible curse. It is not the sweet aroma of the palace gardens or the warm scent of fresh bread, but something far stronger, an overpowering musk that lingers no matter how often she bathes in perfumed oils or herbal waters. At first, the palace servants whisper in hushed voices, believing it to be a passing phase. The royal healers mix special potions, the finest soap makers craft scented balms, and the queen herself laces her daughter's clothes with dried lavender. But nothing masks the overwhelming presence of the scent. At first, the villagers pity her, for she is still a child, innocent and unaware. But as the years pass, pity turns to unease, then to avoidance. The children who once played with her now hold their noses and run. Noblemen, once eager to seek her favour, bow from a distance and quickly take their leave. Servants stand at the edges of the room when she enters, their faces carefully blank, but their bodies tense as if bracing against an unseen force. Rumours spread like wildfire through the kingdom. Some whisper that she is cursed by the gods, while others claim she carries the spirit of an angry ancestor. Nshira watches from the palace balcony as life moves on without her. She dreams of the world beyond, of the village where women in bright wraps laugh as they pound grain, of the markets where vendors call out their wares, of the river where children splash freely. But she dares not step beyond the palace walls, for she knows what awaits her. Rejection, mockery, isolation. No matter how many times her father reassures her that she is still a princess, still royalty, she knows the truth. What good is a crown if no one dares stand near the one who wears it? One evening, as she gazes at the distant village, she hears something unexpected. A sound so mesmerizing, so full of life, that it reaches her soul before her mind can place it. A steady, rhythmic beat, rising and falling like the pulse of the earth itself. Drums. But not just any drums. Drums played with such skill and passion that they seem to breathe with the land. And in that moment, something deep inside Nshira stirs. Something she hasn't felt in years. Hope. Beyond the kingdom's walls, past the wild acacia trees and whispering grasslands, a traveller arrives at the gates of Dabari. His name is Django, a wandering drummer with hands as calloused as they are skilled. He carries little with him, only his drum slung over his shoulder and the gift of music in his soul. As he settles into the village, He does what he does best. He plays. The first beat is soft, almost hesitant, like the first drops of rain before a storm. Then it builds, a rhythm so rich and intoxicating that it pulls the villagers from their homes, from their worries, from their everyday lives. Feet begin to tap, heads sway, and soon the square is alive with movement. Django smiles as the people lose themselves in the music, their laughter mixing with the steady pounding of his drum. Inside the palace, Nshira sits by her window, her fingers gripping the wooden frame as she listens. The sound is unlike anything she has ever heard. It is raw, unchained, a melody of freedom. Without thinking, she pulls a thick veil over her head, drapes a heavy cloak around her shoulders, and slips through the palace corridors unnoticed by the guards. The streets are alive with energy as she follows the rhythm, her heart pounding in time with the drum. She reaches the village square, where Django stands in the centre, his hands moving like lightning over the drum skin. The crowd claps and stomps, lost in the rhythm. Nshira's feet move before she can stop them. She steps forward, lets the beat take hold of her and begins to dance. For the first time in years, she forgets herself. Her body moves with ease, her arms flowing like water, her feet light as air. She spins, sways, lets the music guide her. The world fades, and for a moment, she is nothing but movement, nothing but joy. But then, the wind shifts. A sudden gust lifts the edge of her veil. A hush falls over the crowd. The scent spreads. People freeze. Then come the whispers, sharp and cruel. The cursed princess. A child coughs dramatically, his mother yanking him back. A group of young men who had been admiring her grace now wrinkle their noses, stepping away. And then, the laughter begins. Nshira's world collapses around her. The music vanishes, replaced by humiliation. Heat burns her cheeks as she stumbles back, the whispers growing louder, the jeers cutting into her like knives. She turns to run, desperate to escape the shame. But before she can disappear into the night, a hand catches hers. "Django, you dance like the wind," he says, his voice steady, unaffected by the scent that sends others fleeing. She stares at him, her chest heaving. "You don't smell it?" He shrugs. "I only hear music." And for the first time in her life, Nshira dares to believe that someone truly sees her. Not the princess, not the curse, but the girl beneath it all. Each night, beneath the cover of darkness, Nshira slips away to find Django. By the river, where the water sings its own quiet melody. In the open fields, where the grass dances beneath the moonlight. Beneath the great baobab tree, where the stars stretch endlessly above them. She dances. He plays. Their laughter rises into the night, untouched by the weight of the world. For the first time in her life, Nshira feels free. Django never flinches, never steps away. When she asks why, he only says, "A scent does not define a person." And she believes him. But secrets do not stay secrets for long. One evening, as Nshira spins in time with Django's drum, the distant sound of galloping horses shatters the peace. The royal guard storm into the clearing, their torches throwing flickering shadows against the trees. At the centre of them all, seated atop a black stallion, is King Zubari. His face is carved from stone. His eyes burn with cold fury. "Step away from the commoner," he commands. Nshira stands her ground. "No!" Gasps ripple through the gathered men. The king's fingers tighten around the reins. "You disgrace this family," he hisses. "You will return to the palace at once." Django steps forward, his jaw set. "I love your daughter." The air grows thick with tension. The king lets out a slow, humourless laugh. "A drummer boy? You are not worthy to even look at her." "I will prove my worth," Django says. The king does not hesitate. He lifts his hand. "Take him away." Nshira screams as the guard sees Django, dragging him back into the darkness. His drum lies abandoned on the ground, silent. And just like that, the music is gone. The night Django is taken away, Nshira locks herself in her chamber and refuses to eat. She refuses to speak. The sound of his drum lingers in her ears, but the world beyond her window moves on without him. Days turn to weeks, and she grows weaker, her body hollow with grief. Then, one evening, the palace doors slam open. The queen's voice trembles as she cries out a single word. "Plague." The sickness comes like a thief in the night, sweeping through Debari with merciless speed. It starts with a fever, a burning heat so intense that the infected collapse in the streets, their bodies drenched in sweat. Then come the boils, red and angry, spreading across the skin like cursed tattoos. Within days, their bodies stiffen, eyes staring lifelessly at the sky. Terror grips the kingdom. The people board up their homes, whispering prayers to unseen gods. Merchants abandon their stalls. The palace gates slam shut. No one enters, no one leaves. Then Nshira awakens one night to a fever of her own. It feels as though fire has replaced her blood, her skin burning, her vision blurring. She tosses and turns, the world spinning around her. The sickness claws at her, dragging her toward the abyss. The queen sits by her side, whispering lullabies from childhood. The royal healers mix elixirs, press cool cloths to her forehead, but nothing works. The fever rages. For 7 days and 7 nights, she drifts between life and death. Then, on the 8th day, the fever breaks. When she wakes, something is different. She breathes deeply, expecting the familiar scent that has followed her since birth. But there is nothing. She lifts her wrist to her nose. Nothing. The curse is gone. The queen weeps with joy. The king declares it a miracle. When the news spreads, the kingdom erupts into celebration. Bells ring through the air, drums echo through the streets, and people bow before Nshira as she steps onto the palace balcony. But as the cheers rise, as the people praise her newfound purity, one name does not leave her lips. Django. For the first time since the plague began, she dares to hope he is still alive. But she does not go looking for him. Instead, she allows the world to reshape her. The moment the scent disappears, the suitors return. Men who once turned away from her in disgust now line up at the palace gates, eager to claim her hand. Nobles arrive from distant kingdoms, bearing gifts of gold and silk, their tongues dripping with poetry. "Princess Nshira, your beauty outshines the stars," they say. "Your skin is as flawless as the moonlit sky." For the first time, Nshira basks in admiration. She enjoys the way their eyes linger on her. She lets them sing her praises. She allows the tailors to drape her in the finest fabrics, the royal jewelers to place golden crowns upon her head. She's no longer the cursed princess. She is desirable. Yet, in the quiet moments, when she walks the palace halls alone, she remembers a different kind of admiration. The way Django had looked at her, not as a princess, not as a curse, but as Nshira. The memory stings, but she pushes it aside. The past is gone. She is not the girl who danced in the moonlight to the sound of a drummer's song. She is the princess of Debari, and she will marry a king. Eager to cement her new legacy, Nshira declares a grand tournament. The strongest men in the land will compete for her hand in marriage, proving their worth through combat. Warriors arrive from every corner of the kingdom. their muscles gleaming, their weapons sharp. The arena is built at the heart of the village. It stands filled with eager spectators. The day of the tournament arrives, the air thick with the scent of sweat and anticipation. One by one, the men step forward, fighting, wrestling, proving their might. Nshira watches from her golden throne, draped in silks, her chin lifted high. Then, a new challenger steps into the arena. His body is wrapped in dust-covered rags, his face hidden beneath a hood. He is not a noble, not a warrior of great renown. Yet, there is something familiar in the way he stands, something familiar in the way he moves. The crowd murmurs as he faces his opponent. The gong sounds, and in an instant, he moves like a shadow, striking with precision, with grace. One by one, the warriors fall before him. Nshira grips the arms of her throne. When the final battle is over, when the dust settles, the hooded man steps forward. And then, he removes his hood. A gasp rips through the arena. Django. The silence is deafening. Django meets Nshira's eyes, his expression unreadable. The crowd waits, breathless. For the first time in months, her heart pounds not with vanity, but with something raw. He takes a step forward. Do you truly believe a crown has made you better than the girl who once danced in the moonlight? His voice is soft, but it cuts deeper than any sword. Nshira swallows, her throat dry. She should feel angry, defiant. Instead, she feels small. But then, the scent returns. It begins as a whisper in the air, a shift so subtle that she doesn't notice at first. But then, a nobleman beside her wrinkles his nose. A servant girl covers her mouth. Murmurs ripple through the stands, spreading like wildfire. Nshira lifts a trembling wrist to her nose, and her stomach drops. The curse has returned. The suitors recoil. The nobles whisper. The admiration vanishes. For the first time, Nshira is truly alone. The weight of her choices crashes over her like a tidal wave. She had abandoned the one person who had seen her for more than her curse, who had never flinched in her presence. And now, she had nothing. Tears fill her eyes. She stumbles from the arena, gasping for air, running, until she finds herself at the riverbank. There, beneath the dying light of the setting sun, Django stands. She falls to her knees. "I was a fool," she whispers. "Can you forgive me?" Django watches her for a long moment. Then, without a word, he lifts his drum and begins to play. The rhythm is soft at first, then stronger, flowing like the river itself. It is a song of sorrow, of loss, of love. Nshira closes her eyes. And then, she begins to dance. The music fills the air, drowning out regret, lifting her spirit. She moves, not for a crown, not for admiration, but for herself. For the girl she had once been. For the love she had nearly lost. And as the stars rise above them, Django smiles. The princess and the drummer dance once more. Wow, thank you so much for watching this far. Your support truly means the world to us. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it helps us continue sharing these powerful African folktales with you. And hey, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Now, don't go anywhere because it's time for my favourite part, the wise words of Tembo. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
The river never forgets its path, no matter how far it strays. So too is the journey of the heart. Nshira, the world does not measure a soul by gold or praise. The sun does not shine only on the crowned. A soul is measured by its love, by the kindness it gives when no one is watching. Django did not love you because you were cursed or cured. He loved you because he heard a song in your heart, that the world tried to silence. Do not fear the whispers of men. They come and go, like the tide. But the melody of truth, that is eternal. So dance, Nshira. Dance not for a throne, not for admiration, but for the spirit within you. Dance because the river has found its way home.